Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. It is Binky here today looking at one specific palette, and this is going to either be a really long video or a first impression and then a review later. I think it's going to end up being a really long one, but I think that's the way I'm going to go about it. So I love pastels, and there's a big pastel trend going on right now. It is huge. Now, I know not everybody likes pastels because they're very difficult for a lot of people. I really feel that most of the time, pastels don't necessarily work well for everyone. They really don't. I think a very small percentage. So while I'm extremely happy that this trend is coming about because I tend to like really light colors and very light eye makeup, it works for me, but I realize 80% of the population probably isn't happy with this new trend. But of course, I have been buying up these things because of the excitement, and Huda Beauty just came out with 3 pastel palettes, which you can see here. Now, I'm going to go through all of these eventually, probably in a different video. I should be getting up videos a lot quicker because we are almost in lockdown in New York City because of the coronavirus. It'll be interesting because 2 years from now, this video will be irrelevant. But these probably won't even be available. So it won't matter. So because of that, I really have nowhere to go or anything to do. All work is basically shut off, and I am stuck here, taking a lot of walks. Yes. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a first impression on the pink one, I think it is, because this one was initially the one I was most interested in. And then I don't tend to read reviews till after I use the product, but I was curious and I started reading the reviews, and they're pretty dismal, especially for this one. So it's unfortunate because I was really excited about the color combination, but this is what the packaging looks like. I didn't know what I was going to wear today. The guy delivered the package. He was the greatest thing I've seen all day. So here it is. And then, it's in plastic, which you can recycle these things. So please look into that. Put that there. And this is plastic. Now, they used to be paper, and then it went into the plastic, and I wish it had stayed paper because paper can be recycled more easily than something like this. There are places that you could do it. Please look into that. I swear I'm going to make a video. Actually, this is going to be the time where I can make that video because I have all the time in the world for the next, who knows how long. But this is the Rose Pastel. This is one of the most beautiful palettes I had seen come out in a while. I really love the lavenders, the pinks, and the yellows. As soon as I saw this, I'm like, this needs to be mine. And that's why I started looking at the reviews. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to try this for the first time and try to create a look with it and see what we could do. Going off of what I've read, I just don't even want to think about that. We're starting afresh. Let's see what we could do. So this one's really light. I don't know really what, I guess you could do something with this. So I'm going to go in with something like this in the crease. This one would be really pretty too. But I don't want it to be too pink and yellow right off the bat. So I'm going to start with that and see. Now what I will say is that it is going in quite well. Yeah, that one's actually quite nice. It's a little bit darker than I wanted, but, who cares? So, wow, that's actually quite nice. It's going in really nicely. It just holds on to the skin really well. I know I don't want to go too far into other reviews I read, but there was this, supposedly a lot of these colors were extremely powdery and not adhering to the skin as well as people would like, but I think it's going on quite well. Okay, so I'm a little bit curious by this one because I don't even know what this is supposed to be. In that when you rub this together, it's like this marbled effect. I don't really know what it's supposed to look like. That's what it's supposed to look like. I don't even know if it's showing up on my skin tone because, well, I'm pretty fair. So, it's very light. Maybe too light. So I was kind of interested in this for whatever reason. I don't know how cohesive this look is going to be, but let me try this baby yellow. It kind of reminds me of the palette last year, the neon one, where it was a little bit chartreuse. And this appears to kind of be in that same vein, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I just know that they didn't perform that well. Now, I know some people like to use brushes. I will always use my finger. So this is a binky way of doing things. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. It's just the way that I do it. It just tends to work well for me. So it went on pretty well, actually. I actually don't mind it. It's interesting. It almost looks more metallic than shimmery. I have a little hand wipey here. That's why I keep turning this way. So yeah, it's interesting because it has almost like this metallic look to it rather than a shimmer. I'm going to put this here, which I didn't expect. It's not necessarily bad. I will say that it is a little bit patchy. It's a little bit patchy. So what I want to do is do a glitter glue on the other side just to see if that helps it adhere better. I know with the neon palette, especially the green one specifically, that was an issue and you had to really build things up quite a bit. So this may be the case with this. I don't know. Let's see here. If you hear a cat playing in the background, that would be mine. They're really excited that me and my roommate are home all the time. So they're having a great time. So there we go. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't see much of a difference with glitter glue. The only difference with glitter glue is that you have to only do one layer in comparison with using your finger or brush, in which you're going to, so it took 3 layers to build it up this way and then 1 layer to build it up with glitter glue. So if you use a glitter glue, this palette will last a lot longer because you're not going to have to use as much product. But if you don't have glitter glue or you don't want to use it, you might go through the shimmers a little bit faster. But looking at it, yeah, it looks a little bit more metallic. And even still, it's not fully opaque. It's almost like you could see it's on there, but it's not fully opaque. We'll just leave it at that. So now this is where it gets tricky because I thought this would be a darker color. There's really nothing to put on my corner. I was hoping there'd be a darker pink shimmer that I could put on the outer corner just to give it a little bit more dimension, but I see that that is not the case. So, because these shimmers, and I'll redo this one again, that's that one. These shimmers kind of all look the same. They really kind of do. Let me put this one that I just used next to this guy. Okay. This one is a little bit more of a green reflex to it, and this one's more yellow, and these ones are definitely peachy pink. So these are the peachy pink. This one is more green. This one's yellow. They're very, very light. They're very, very light. So I actually don't mind this, but I can see how this would be frustrating for anyone who doesn't have skin tone like mine. Mine, you know, if you've, I don't know how well this would show up. I don't know. I don't know. It's not that it's bad. It's not fully opaque, and yeah, I'm wondering how it would show up in other skin tones. I'm just very curious because it depends on the tone peeking through. If it's not fully opaque, I really don't know what it would do. But I really want something on the inner corner, and there's really nothing that's going to do this. I mean, I guess I could take this one and put it in the corner. There's really no deep colors here to set this off, which, you know, some people don't care. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that marbled one and put it here and see. Yeah, it's just not going to pick up. It's on there. It's definitely adhering to the greenish yellow one, but it's so light that it's like, who cares? It's not really making any bit of a difference. So What I'm going to do next is go in with the same color that I used. I wish I'd used a different color. And put it in the corner. Just to try to add a little bit of dimension. It's going on. Actually, it is going on really well. What I will say about these shadows is that they are extremely powdery. The mattes are extremely powdery. So I'm curious to see if they wipe away to nothing, because that happens sometimes. I found with these is that they just blend out, which is frustrating, I'm sure, for everyone. I actually like powdery formula because of my skin tone. Things can be way too dark, but there's a point where it's just kind of, why? And this may be a little bit of that. So I actually think it went in quite nicely. Yeah, it's working well for me. Yeah, I'm not having as many problems as I think other people are. Yeah, okay. Actually, I'm not having any problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blend it out a little bit more because I don't want to keep doing that on camera. I'm going to put on my eyeliner and mascara, and then I will come back and give you my thoughts on this. Okay, so I know this is really weird, but I looked at the makeup look and I was like, this is not what I want to wear for the rest of the day to test it out because of what I'm wearing. It's just, I know. I have a few people coming over because things are getting really kind of boring here in New York City with everything going down, but that's okay. You know, we want to keep everyone safe. But, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in and I'm going to create something a little bit more rosy, I think. So I am going to go in with this guy right here. So go for a more rosy look to match what I'm wearing a little bit. Not that there was anything wrong with the other one. It was fine. It was just kind of a weird look with the yellow, which you knew what you're getting into. At least I did. But I kind of do want to test these things out. I think I will review the other ones in a different manner than this. This is kind of haphazard because I didn't know I was going to be doing this one today. So here we are. So this one is not going in quite as well as the other one. In fact, you could barely see it. It's really powdery. Yeah, you could barely see that. It's, yeah. I think if you have really light skin tone like myself, that this would kind of work, but not really. So for anyone with medium or deeper skin tones, this is going to be a tough sell. So I think the only way to make this work is to take this with this and mix it together to try to get any kind of depth to this. And that helps a little bit. But you shouldn't have to do that. So this is very, very, very strange. So apparently I started with the most pigmented one of the group. But yeah, that's basically the best that we're gonna do on that one, it looks like. So now I'm gonna go in with something a little bit rosier, like I said. I think I'm going to go in with the pink, which is here, and just put that onto the eye. It's very pretty, iridescent kind of color. Again, it goes on. It's almost like a metallic in the way that it is. I know it's a shimmer, but it looks metallic-y. There you go. So what I want to do is on the other eye use a glitter glue to see if that makes a difference. So that I go onto my left eye just so I can watch it during the day. Oops, a little bit too much there. But I think, let's see if with this, because I don't want to assume all the shades are the same, though it looks like the shimmers do act the same. Looking at the swatches on my arm. Yeah, I mean the glitter glue does help in that it, like I said, you're going to use less product. But this, uh, yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with that brown shade in the corner again. It doesn't really do much. I mean, it's probably the most pigmented out of the bunch. It's just even using it, it just, I don't know, it's not really dark enough. So this is very much a very light kiss of color to get you through spring and summer. So if you're looking for dramatic looks, you're definitely not going to get this. You're definitely not going to get this. Because that looks like the best that I can do at this time. I may want to bring in another palette, so you may see when I put, because I'll probably keep this one, I may end up putting a darker color in the corner, just because, yeah, this isn't suiting me the way that I would like. Ooh, got that a little too dark one underneath the eye. I mixed the two colors that I did originally together and then moved it underneath the eye. They're really powdery, so I can definitely buff them out. That one especially is just, whoa. Okay, so I think that's the best that I'm going to be able to do with this. So what I'm going to go ahead and do for real this time is add some eyeliner and some mascara. I may put a little bit of a darker color from one of my Project Pan things just in the corner, just to give it a bit more dimension, because I'm not loving the way that it looks right now. And then I will come back with my first impression. Okay, so in the end I end up getting an okay eye look. Looking at these, I was re-looking at them. They look very different on the arm than they do on the lid. It's interesting because they're not looking too pink, at least from this angle, so it's interesting. It's not very rosy looking. But when you look at the palette, it most definitely is. It's interesting because I do like the addition of the yellow. That's actually what drew me into this. I did not try. This is the yellow matte. Let's put this here. It's not horrible, actually. It does definitely go on. I don't tend to wear colors like that because when I wear yellows, it makes me look like I have a bruise when I use mattes on my eyes. That's why I didn't touch that one. I used every single one of these colors except for that one. I used this one in the inner corner. It didn't really stick too well. But everything else I used but this yellow. It's extremely powdery. Extremely powdery. And that's what it looks like. The reason I didn't opt to use it is because I know myself. It already looks like a bruise on me, and I really don't want to go through that. I love yellows in theory, but they look terrible on me. So, but I do feel like I ended up getting a nice eye look. This is kind of weird. Originally I was going to do more looks with this, but I think with the two, and I've used almost every color, I think that's enough unless people want me to do more. I think with these two palettes, I will do 3 looks, one on each eye, and then the main one that I want to wear for the rest of the day, and test out the staying power with these. So that's how I'm going to break down these. I'm going to do it very differently. It's just this was, so the guy showed up, my box was here, I went, oh, I guess I'm wearing this. So it was on the fly. Yeah, so basically 2 looks with this one, and it's going to be more of a first impression. And what I will do is, because people are curious about the performance, I will put that in the description box after I've worn it all day to let you know how it ended up working in the end, because I'm sure people are curious. The eye look is okay. In the end, I did get a decent eye look. What I will say about this is that a lot of the looks are going to end up looking a lot alike, because a lot of these colors are very similar. I didn't know what to expect from that, but again, it's kind of like a peachy pink color, which is very similar to this one here. These colors here, these 3 are very, very light. Very, very light. So the issue is, ooh, that one didn't even show up. There we go. That's what it looks like. But the problem is, the more that you use it, see how I'm doing this, the more it wipes away, except for that dark color here. That one's the all-star of the palette. it's still there, but the rest of them, the more you use it, the more it wipes away to absolutely nothing. The shimmers also are going to take a little bit of buildup. They did eventually go. I do think it's a really pretty eye look in the end, but I do feel that these are going to be very one-dimensional because in the end, there's really nothing to darken it up. I wish there was like a darker shimmer pink to put on the inner corner, and that one of these two colors were a deeper brown or mauve to basically add dimension on the outer corner. There's nothing to make it more dynamic. It's very much, a monochromatic look with these, unless you throw in one of the yellows. That changes it. But for the most part, there's really no dimension to this palette. You're going to have to bring in another palette unless you don't mind it look like this. Now, I don't mind it look like this, but it's going to get really old really quickly. Oh, someone's at the door. Okay, when your friend orders a huge box full of cheese from Wisconsin for the Corona apocalypse, I had no idea we have cheese. Yeah, because that's going to last a long time. Anyway, yeah, things are getting crazy here. So, back to what I'm trying to get back on track. So, with this, you're just going to get a very one-note kind of look. You may need to bring in another palette. Other people may not care. I'm okay with wearing something like this, but for most people, I can see why they may not want to. It just doesn't have a lot of dimension. The other thing is that because these colors are so light, the shimmers, I think you're going to have a better bet on more skin tones than the mattes. The mattes barely show up on me. The only one that really showed up was this one and this one. These two, no. And then you have that yellow, but I just think it's been done better elsewhere, but that's just me. The yellows, I'm a little bit confused why they're here. I love the yellows. They're kind of what sold me, but the problem is it really doesn't fit together with these pinks. I don't really understand it. If you had had a regular brown of some sort, like I said, to put in the corner, take out one of these and put like a shimmer brown, and then take out one of these and put a deeper brown, it would have worked better because then you could incorporate that with the yellow. But really, there's no clear way to incorporate that yellow with these colors. It's just beautiful in theory, but when you use it, it's like, Also, I feel like this is going to be a tough sell with those with medium to deeper skin tones. Some people will be able to pull it off in the medium range. Yeah, some will. Mostly the shimmers. The mattes, I'm going to say no. Except for this one, it's even going to be difficult for people in the medium skin tone range. Like I said, these guys barely showed up on me. And I have porcelain skin. So I don't know how that's going to go beyond that. They barely showed up on me. This one, again, is the all-star, but you're going to pan that really quickly because these other ones are a disaster. Yeah. I'm hoping these other two work better. I'm getting to the point where after the neon hassle, I had the neon palette last year, the green one, and it was a disaster. It was so poor quality. And then dealing with this, I can only assume that things will get better because I'm an optimist. So I assume that these two will get better. I hope so because this one, I rarely return things, but I can honestly say that I don't think that this is worth your hard-earned money, especially because I know a lot of people are on low buys, and on top of it, even if you're not, there's other things in your collection that will work just as well. These do have like more of a metallic shimmer finish to them, so if you like that look, then these may be worth it to you, but I'd venture to say you have something like this in your collection somewhere. Is it worth, I think, $29? I'm going to say no. So far, I'm not impressed with this. I love the idea of this, but in the end, I may end up returning this one. And I don't like to do that because I find it wasteful, and in the end, these just end up in landfill. But when I'm spending $30 on something, I need something that needs to perform a little bit better and that's usable. That's not for the consumer very fair when 1, 2, 3, shadows are basically useless out of 9. That gives you 6 that are usable and 2 that are these two, which are extremely similar. So basically, knock out 4, you have 5 shadows that are completely different, and then these aren't as cohesive without something to help them out. So in the end, I would happily use 3. That's not worth it. And so unfortunately, I think I most likely will. So not the best review on this one. I'm going to have to agree with the majority of people that I did read things. I didn't read on these two, but I did read on this because this is the one I was most excited about, and I think I agree. It's just, no. The first look worked better because I used the best shadow, which is that dark one. And it's the all-star of the palette, but that doesn't save it. You have 5 billion neutral mattes like that, so... Anyway, that is my first impression of the Huda Beauty Rose Pastel Palette. I will put the performance below in the description after I've worn it all day. And until next time, have a fabulous day, my friends. Bye.